Hi, Fanatics! As all you I Am Legend fans know, Will Smith's character, Dr. Robert Neville, died in the original movie, but now we all know that Smith is actually still going to act in the sequel, and we have all the latest information on this, where we're also going to reveal what Will has to say about it. First of all the fans maybe already know that Smith has spoken out about this movie really being one of his favorite ones to act in, but for the sequel, Smith wasn't sure at first if he would do it. But after hearing the Black Panther star Michael B. Jordan, who's also starring in the movie and producing it, Smith got really inspired to be Mr. Neville again. You see, Jordan has some really exciting ideas of how Dr. Neville is gonna return, and Smith couldn't say no. Smith says to Entertainment Tonight that it's a really cool concept. It was one of those I was gonna leave alone, and then I heard the idea. I was like, that might work. I think we can do that. The question is, how exactly Will Smith's character returns in the movie? Well, Mr. Smith has spoken a bit about it, so stay tuned in this video to find out. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all the latest celebrity gossip. Warner Brothers has really tried to get this movie off the ground a long time now, but it took until March of 2022 until they announced it. Producer and writer Kiva Goldsman said in an interview with Deadline that they will use the 2007's alternate ending as the starting point, and that Smith is going to jump in a post-apocalyptic world 20-30 years later. You know how Smith's character dies in the end because he sacrifices himself so Anna and Ethan can run from the Darkseekers? Yeah, well, that's what y'all saw in the theater version, but new information about the sequel actually reveals it will start from where the alternate movie ends. Exciting, right? I love alternative endings. In the alternate ending, which you could see in the movie's DVD release, Neville resolves somewhat the situation with the Darkseekers by giving them the female Darkseeker he had been doing experiments on in order to find a cure for the mutants. He sees that he's become a monster to them, and they are at that point just defending themselves against Neville. In the end of the movie, you can see how Neville leaves New York to find other survivors with Ethan and Anna. Another exciting part for the I Am Legend fans is that the sequel will actually match the original book, the one where you get cozy with a vampire civilization. The novel from 1954 is more of an inspiration to the sequel than the original movie. How exciting is that? Don't we all just love vampire stories? Will Smith actually has hinted a little bit about this and said that he maybe will have to fight off blood-sucking demons, and that he hopes he has a strong partner with him in doing this. Is it maybe Jordan he's talking about? Or maybe Jordan will play Neville's son, as we've heard before. The thing is, Jordan's role is for now very unclear, so we can just speculate at this point. Maybe he will have a negative role, or maybe, as Will hinted, he would be his ally. It's also very exciting to see how the infected beings will evolve in the sequel, since we found out in the original movie that the infected aren't soulless, but very intelligent. In the novel with the same name, Neville is up against vampires that have gotten transformed in a pandemic, more traditional kind of scared of garlic vampires. It's also about how the world has changed after humans no longer were the ones in charge. This is what Goldsman wants to work with in more detail. The author of the novel, Richard Matheson, is writing about how the ordinary human's time on the planet has come to an end, and this is what the sequel will explore and will stay more faithful to the original book. Yay! The original story ends with Neville seeing that the vampires have formed their own world in the hole left behind after the death of mankind. But if Goldsman wants to do something different, maybe the Darkseekers are more evolved and will be smarter in the sequel, maybe creating their own civilization as in the book. Goldsman also talks about his inspiration coming from the video game The Last of Us. He says, "I'm obsessed with The Last of Us, where we see the world just post-apocalypse, but also after a 20-30 year lapse. It will be especially visual in New York. I don't know if they'll climb up the Empire State Building, but the possibilities are endless. As you probably know, The Last of Us was actually inspired by the original movie, because I Am Legend came out before the video game, and now Goldsman is using it as inspiration for the sequel. Isn't that cool? And then, let's talk about the release date. Because rumor has it that it might be in the beginning of 2025, but because of the writers and actors strikes in Hollywood holding everything up, we can't be so sure. I'm for one very excited and hope it will be released ASAP. What do you think? Do you think it would be released on time? If you know something new, please don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!